G'day folks, welcome back to another stream. That should not be there. That looks correct. I think we're okay there. Alright, and welcome to part 2 of our collab, number 6. We're going to start cluing tonight. Make sure that's all okay. And g'day TV and Ignotus, hope you both well. Let's see, I think that's all fine. All right. So, this is going to be interesting, I think. Probably the most tricky thing to clue, this puzzle, of all the ones we've done. Because we've got some weird feels. Fun ones for the theme, but like how are we going to define this? Or this? Or this? Yeah, some of these things, right? Like this blank time is fine. That's just a standalone word, but we're gonna have trouble, I think, with some of these fills. So I think we may have to consider some special instructions, perhaps. And I am advocating for maybe calling it this, something to do with this, potentially. Oh, but yeah, right. Timeless. These are just some ideas I had, right? Thinking about things just a bit ago. I think we have to really be careful before we start cluing really anything, particularly any of these. Right, these ones. These situations here. This one. Probably those, what, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, those 6 are themed sort of fills, right? And kind of, how do you define them, right? Like, I don't think place in could be clued as insert. Okay. I think I'm more worried about actually these 3, right? The really long ones. Like, I don't think they have... Right, it's like if I don't in the fullness of, just without anything at all, it doesn't come up with anything. Just says it appears to be a typo for the phrase in the fullness of time, which it means eventually. So, okay, that takes care of this one, for example, but these 3, pays for, probably we could get away with that too. Like reimburses or something. So we could probably get rid of that as a problem as well. Sense of. Find meaning in. Okay, maybe the first thing is, Oh, and I should say, by way of introduction, if you weren't here last week, this is a grid we made. The theme, spoiler alert, if you haven't already worked it out, is we're talking about lost time. So these things are blank times, in the fullness of time, in next to no time. Now is the perfect time. So we've got 15, I think 15, we can check in a second, but I think we agreed on 15. 5 across and 10 down. Unless the defs include with time, but the wordplay is only for the answer itself. Yeah, I was considering that for some of these longer ones that we really can't find an appropriate substitution for. Like here, what did you say? Insert. Reasonable, right? That could absolutely work. 1 second, I just have to fix this. That could absolutely work. But this one, and this one, I think are problems. So for those three, we might need special instructions where we do something like what you say there, or where we say there is no definition. 3 themed entries are lacking definitions, or something like that. Because I really think we're going to have a hard time defining what is now is the perfect. Like now is the perfect, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything on its own, right? It says, now is the perfect can be completed in several ways, such as now is the perfect time to start, now is the perfect time for you. So I think, yeah, probably is, I think that's what I was thinking earlier myself. Other people in the chat, do you have any thoughts or opinions on that? And I guess by way of sort of being sure about the themed entries, let's just go through and make sure we know and that we're happy with what the themed ones are. I think we decided there are 15. 5 are the across clues and 10 are the down clues. So I'm just going to put on here, on my other screen here. So I'm going for 1A in the fullness of. Uh, 16A pays for $20 across, place in 24 across, extra, and 28 across, now is the perfect. And for down clues, it's 1 down in next to no. And I will show this in a second when I've finished. Let's go with 3 down end, end time. 12 down, national pass time, right? National pass time. 4 down, universal. 23 down, lunch. 5 down, local. 27 down, air time, right? 7 down, sense of. 8 down, free. 9, okay. Oh, and I missed 25 down, which was burn. Right, burn time. I think we decided that was a thing. Is that correct? Just want to check that. Burn time. Duration for which something burns. Yep, that's a thing. So, now let's see if I can bring this up. I will just make this a bit bigger because, yep. Okay. Right. So obviously I've spoiled it. This is my thing, okay, my Discord server, so but I'm showing you this stuff because this is important. I need more room this way. Oh, and I have absolutely made a mess of those. I'm trying to put them in order. Oops, no, it's not right. And of course, it's all out of whack now, but that's okay. Bring this back up. So there we go, right? So do we agree that we've got 15 themed entries and it's precisely those 15? Those 5 across clues and those 10 downs. Give people a few moments to have a look at that. I think this is what I recall from last week, that there were a lot more down themed words than across. I think they're all correct. I don't think we're missing any. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that list, I think. So let's just see if we all agree, first off, on that list. Right? So in the forms of time, pace for time, place in time, extra time, etc. If we're happy with that, then the next question is, Ignotus agrees. Amazing. Beautiful. Anyone else in the chat? Have you had a look and do you agree with us? I feel like that's pretty solid. And I guess we're not missing any themed words, correct? The other ones like noted, incidents, xenon, I don't believe those fit. Age is not really a thing. It's theme adjacent, but it's not a blank time. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's the reservation I have. And my next question then is, of those 15, which would we have trouble for defining, given the absence of the word time? And as I said a few times a bit earlier already tonight, I believe 1 across, 1 down, and 28 across, the 3 long ones, are probably the 3 that are troublesome. The rest probably are okay. Like, let's consider... That's going to throw everything off. But let's consider, for example, synonyms of these, right? Covers the cost of. Shouts, right? You shout a beer or something. Oh my god, can you not do that? Wow. Okay, right. So that is solid. Ignotus, you said insert, extra, additional, right? And termination, finish, right? I mean, this is just what I think. There are probably other options for these things, but local, not global, neighborhood, burn, Blaze, Inferno, something like this, right? This sort of idea. Air, Sky, right? So I think something like that would be reasonable, and then this we can clue as, for example, US founders, right? National paths, like the, you know, Washington and Jefferson, that sort of situation, right? Feeling, etc. So this one, right? This one, and this one, right? I think those three are the only ones that I'm thinking we can't define. We can actually get away with a definition for most of them. So I would argue that we say in the special instructions, 3 themed answers or 3 themed words are lacking definitions. And we just clue the wordplay. I think that makes it easiest. Sneakily for extra. Okay, yeah, amazing. So let's, I think, are we happy with that? Anyone else in the chat? Now's your time to weigh in, and if you agree or disagree, let us know now. I think that's what I'm going to go with, because I'm pretty sold on that idea. So for extra, right? More strain to sin. Extra. Why am I not understanding how clever that is? Oh. Oh. Oh, interesting. Strain without tra. Okay. More strain to sin, maybe. Okay. So there's sin on the outside. More is deaf. Extra, right? Oh, interesting. Extra, like X, take, like delete, like an ex-partner, get rid of. That's so sneaky. Has to be a question mark there, for sure. Wow, that's a really tough clue. But also considering that 3 check letters out of 5. And we'd have to make sure that the crossing clues are fairly gettable. I think. Yeah, definitely question mark. So we can read this later. To our 6th offering. And sorry, I can get rid of that for a sec. And I think we do need to say there are 15 theme things. Right. Cool. Something like that, right? We can fine-tune it later, but another one, this is our 6th offering, right? 15 themed answers, 3 of which are lacking defs, part of solving, and I think that's fair, right? There's only 3 that are not, you know, defined, and, you know, people might be able to work out that the ones that are, you know, 2, 4, 2, 2, for example, are going to be phrases, and maybe they don't have a definition, right? So I think that's fine. Cool. That's there. The other sort of interesting meta puzzle idea I had was instead of doing this, we could, you know, color, you know, letters like this. Time, L, E, S, like in non-themed words, an anagram to get timeless. So the answers are timeless, the themed ones, but that feels difficult given we don't have like 2 S's together, or could get a bit messy. I think this is fine like this. So these are going to be the hardest ones, perhaps during the solve, but they are the longest ones, and usually with long clues I like to try for anagrams because you've got more fodder potentially, right? So I'm going to look at that in just a tick. So I think I'm going to go back to last week. We already had a few things here. One was this, right? This, I think, is straight away going to be a double def for me. It's a shoe-in. Titanic is massive, enormous, and it's a steamship, right? The famous one. So I think we just go with that. Something like this. Passenger, steamship, right? Now, maybe it's worth just Googling and just passenger liner, right? Saying on its maiden voyage, okay. So, just thinking about true, it could be then a cryptic def, potentially. Yeah, Well, let's think about... of titanium. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Is that too... I mean, it's a passenger thing. It's going to be a big thing. It's not like a small dinghy. Well, maybe we don't do a double def then. That's okay. Because we could just start the clue massive, for example. Massive is a fine word to start. I see Titan, right? Titan's definitely massive giant or something, right? Very great strength, intellectual importance. Any of a family of giants? Massive giant. Oh, I love it. Great, right? And it's just a short, simple little clue. Right. And it's very... right, easy, done. Lock it in. Easy one, right? Now I probably should... I'm going to keep tabs on clue devices. So charade, right? Giant Titan and in charge, I see. So that's fine. All right, so that's better. Then that gets rid of any sort of quibble. A nice short clue for 7 letters. That's a nice one. Which reminds me of a clue that I had for... right. So when you can achieve something like this, right? That was a clue that I had in one of my puzzles. This one. And the definition is vessel. It's a long ship, right? If you wants, you longs. Longs for something. And fashionable is hip, right? Longs, hip, long ship, beautiful, right? Something like that, short and sweet. If you make that work like we have here, perfect. That's fantastic, right? That's cool. Happy with that. Now, I think... I was also just doing a few notes before the stream, just sort of these phrases like, it's all me is all about, you know, this sort of thing, right? Admitting to things, ownership, like it's all me, being self-centered, I'm most important. We probably need this here. We had a bunch of stuff here from last week. So that's one we'll look at a bit later. I also looked at Tacitus, which is a Roman historian, or it's Latin for silent or quiet, so we can use that later. And we also found anagram generals to be enlargers, which is nice. So I'm going to look at these long ones, I think, first. I'll come to your thing you notice in just a bit, but I just want to look at these anagram things. So I need to find my anagram solver. Right, in the fullness of. Because let's see what we get, right? We're making something amazing, we're making something nothing. Let's see. Okay. So it doesn't find anything per se, but now we click for summon the letters. And let's see what we get. Come on. There's a lot of letters, so it's going to take a bit here. It is loading. So in next to no. And now is the perfect. Oh, that reminds me also another thing we have to do, which sometimes the software won't do, is define the length pattern, right? So this is a 2, 3, 4, nope, incorrect. So 8, 2. Right? Oh my God, has it not done that? No. Right? 2, 3, 8, 2 in the fullness of, okay. Sometimes it does it automatically, like say bring about it did, but here it's struggling. So length pattern here, 2, 4, 2, 2, right, in next to no. This one is going to be very tricky. We have to make sure we're careful here. 2, 1, 3, 2. I don't know if it does the apostrophe, but we'll put it in as 2, 1. It's right. IT apostrophe S. Here. 3, 2, 3, 7. This one. This one. Quite a few, actually. This one. Oh, what am I doing? That's not right. This one. This one. And this one. Right? Have I missed any? Oh, I have missed this one, haven't I? How does it look now? Are we close there? In the fullness of, in next to no, national pars, it's all me, now is the perfect, pepper dip, place in, pays for, sense of, bring about. I believe that's everything. Hey Tace, welcome. How are you? We're just making sure we put the length patterns for these ones here, right? 2, 3, 8, 2, for example. I believe we've caught them all now. This one, it did automatically for us last week. And we've just got some special instructions because we've gone through and we agree that there are 15 themed answers. 3 are going to lack definitions because it's really hard to define what this is without the word time. And same for this, and same for this. Neo Sol needs a space. All right, let's have a look. No. Neo Sol, okay, 3, 4. Yep. Checks out. Happy with that. Length pattern here is going to be 3, 4. Thank you. Done. All right, so length patterns, tick. Special instructions. All right. 6th offering, 15 themed answers, 3 are lacking definitions. It is part of solving to determine which answers are themed and which 3 are lacking. And which 3 of the 3 themed answers are lacking definitions. Cool. Right. Now, let's see. Oh, boy. Haha. Okay, here we go. So, this is partial anagrams of in the fullness of, okay? Now, picking the long words, because it makes sense. We get more choices. Any of these things that catch our eye to clue in the fullness of. Just the wordplay alone, right? We got life on the sun. So life on the sun's interesting. Remembering these aren't full anagrams, so we'll come back and work out what's missing in a second. Full tension. Hello sunset. Right? These two. I don't particularly want to do names like we could, but it doesn't really sort of, then it's kind of obvious. But whereas if we, you know, and let's avoid things like this, right? As amusing as that might be for some people. Full tension, hello sunset, right? Okay. Because at least the partial anagram of these long ones seems reasonable. because it's quite interesting what some of these spit out. Silent house. Right. Some of these might lend themselves to good surfaces, right? Might be good to keep in mind for difficult we make. Yeah. So this is a good consideration. Yeah, I think we agreed that this is going to lack a definition, 1 across. 1 down is going to lack a def. And 28 across. Now is the perfect. So in this case, we're including just the wordplay, and I think we try and make it more fair. Also keep in mind, we do have quite a few crossing letters for all these ones too. You know, this is a fairly short one. This is a fairly short one. Right, these are both themed ones, but we can clue them, you know, as appropriate definitions. Right, free doesn't cost anything. Local, not global. Your neighborhood, right? End, termination, finish, right? We can clue that easily enough. But yes, I agree we should make it a bit easier. And anagrams are generally a bit easier, right? The UFO files, that's a bit fun, isn't it? All right, any others that we like? Let's just go back up a second. Now, because of the nature of the sort of anagram solver software, it's going to spit out some silly stuff, like L.L. Steinhaus, Enfuissant. You know, these sorts of things are not great. Fitfulness. Right, Flintstones. You know, that could be better for a capital F. Right. I mean, that is in there. We could do that Flintstones, but that's not necessarily the best. Fossil fuel. Honest life. Well, choices here for sure. Lots of choices for partial anagrams here. Maybe let's get a couple more if we think we like them. Left on file. Maybe I'll just start separating these. Right, because these are natural things for a surface, right? Like left on file, you know? That could be part of us. Life on the sun, you know? People might imagine what life on the sun might be like. Life lesson. Loneliness, okay. All right, well, that's heaps, right? I think we can keep going for days, but we've got all these as potential partial anagrams. And now the question is, do we like any of them? What is left, perhaps, is the next question. Let's see. That's gone. On. Sun. Okay. So I'm just going to start doing this, but if N, okay. But if you have an idea for a clue with one of these things, just jump in. I'm happy to skip a couple of these that I'm doing and go straight to ones lower on the list. But this will just help sort of work out what's left over. Okay. Let's see. Sides, S, I, T. Okay. None of these are particularly leaving easy leftovers. Okay. Oh, see, that Flintstones actually doesn't work because you don't have... There's only one T. We could do... Right. The headless. So, as in the is headless, so that gets rid of this T. So, using this HE. That leaves ULF. Right. So, that's a possibility, for example. We could do 200 grams. That's a possibility, right? This is just, you know, what I see, right? And the beautiful thing is that, you know, with collaboration, people will see different things and something will stick that we like. Maybe I'll put the double N. L-I-E and then honest. Okay. Okay, Huns. Interesting. So that is, you know, something interesting, maybe. Maybe. Oops. So, and that one's just out of view, but that's what we got there. Do we like any of those at all? Lots of choices there, right? we might have to just start thinking about which ones we take off. I mean, there's a lot of choices here. I'm liking the look of some of these less for different reasons. I like this one less because it's giving like full in the word fullness. So for me, that one's not as good. So let's get rid of that one, for example, right? As a way to just eliminate one. And again, we could keep going, right? There's a lot more choices here, right? Nothing else. Selfish one. Like, there's still a lot of possibilities, right? But I feel like we just have to, you know, stop at one point and just try something. I think some of these are potentially tricky because of what's left over, right? This is what makes it difficult. Unless you know, go to one look and try and put alternate letters to make a word. Yeah, no, far away, by all means. You know, jump in with anything you say. I'm just considering choices for this. We hadn't sort of had anything for this. So let's see, your suggestion is this. Careless, precise theft. All right. Taste, I'll come to your comment in just a tick. I'm just looking at this. Just kidding about careless, precise. Okay. Theft, let's see. So I can see this anagram, right? Precise theft. So let me just see. Okay, so now is left. So careless precise theft is anagram precise theft. That takes care of everything except... So this takes care of is the perfect. And now is what's left over. So just kidding about is now, is that, or you're missing a bit there? So just come back to us on that one. That's what I get. Let's go to this. Taste has a thing for the fossil fuel. With an extra letter, the non... Yeah, okay. The non-fossil fuel. Interesting. Not. Ah, okay. I mean, you're close, right? Careless, precise theft leaves you just now. N-O-W. So see if you can work something out with that. Like one backwards, like you won victory, reversal, or own cycling. You know, own, but the N goes to the front. See if you can work on that. I'm just going to consider what we've got here with Tace's thing. So the non-fossil fuel is a complete anagram. I like the hyphen. That's sort of a bit of fun. Just, you know, a bit of punctuation to throw in there. And a grind, or... So the question is, can we come up with a good anagram indicator? Potentially. And we have to get, then this O has to go, right? So how do we lose the O? Right, let's just have a look what... This is brilliant. I love this reference. This is so good. Okay. Right, this is what O could be. So if we are missing an O, we are missing one of these things. A blood group, a duck, an egg, a globe, love, nil, nothing, oxygen, ring. Ooh, not the first drop of oil. Ah, that's good. The fossil fuel angle is good. Yeah. So, the non-fossil fuel, not the first drop of oil. So that is very nice, isn't it? Okay. So it's this anagram, but not the first drop of oil. So it's anagram of this minus this O. Now we just need an anagrind. It's a bit clunky with that at the start, isn't it? Like, that is a completely fine word to use in a surface, right? We've seen it many times before. I'm sure we've all used it in puzzles ourselves. You know, something like that. Can we get away with that? Right, with this the anagrind? I'm just trying to see if this works. Okay, yeah, I mean, fair. I think if we put that in the surface of this one, if we go with that, we certainly avoid it here. Which Ignotus is looking at as well anyway, right? Here there is no the in this one. Right, so this, not the first drop of oil, so not the O. So anagram of this without an O. And this. And horror is the anagrind. I don't think we can put an exclamation mark on that, for example. It's not an and lit. Oh. Article engaged. Okay, so articles are for that. Interesting. Manufactured, unloved, non-fossil fuel. Okay, how about this? let's see. I'm trying to replace that with article, but then we've got to contain article inside the rest of the fodder. But I'm trying to make it like a newspaper sort of a surface, right? Something to that end is what I'm trying to go for, which is combining both your suggestions. Right, because I like article. Right, and if it's a horror article, like, oh my god, you know, it's... You know, that sort of thing. Okay, article engaged in... Article engaged in non-fossil fuel needing a drop of oil. That's gone haywire. That's a step in the right direction. I like ending in needing a drop of oil and putting something like that's gone haywire at the start. But not that's gone haywire. And let's see, needing a drop of oil. I know what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to get rid of the O. I'm just trying to work out in my head if that's the right way to do it. Because I've seen, like, wanting a drop. Like, if something's wanting, it's missing. Is that usually how people clue, like, deletions of this sort? So I think, I mean, we're obviously it's well settled on this as a... Right. We're absolutely focusing on this of all the choices we had. And we could put 10 definite 10 clues using all those different choices, but this is really good. Mobile. Okay, yeah. Right, on your phone. Yep. That's good. I like that. That's better than horror, I think. Okay. Rather than put that in there, right? Potentially. Oh. Interesting. Vehicle sense. Well, we can't have the anagram this, right? Either we're putting article engaged in, or we're putting the, and it's a total anagram, right? It's one of the two. Yeah. Article probes. Okay. Article probes inside. Okay, yes. Non-fossil fuel, mobile. So mobile being the anagram indicator. And then we need something minus O. Yeah, okay. So let's just see how that looks instead. I think that's another step in the right direction. Because that's nice surface, but also that's the container we need, right? For the probing being inside the rest of it, right? Non-fossil fuel, mobile, and then we need a deletion for O. So that inside anagram of this, but missing an O. And again, for O, we've got all these choices that we can delete. Right, if we want to delete, you know, an O, right, missing a blood group, missing a duck, an egg, a globe, missing nothing, right? Missing oxygen. Non-fossil fuel mobile homes. So there's the mobiles, the homes. Oh, interesting. Homes is a container. Homes. Homes? But we're absolutely going on the right track now. We've just got to combine everything we're thinking of. Okay. Blood group, duck, egg. Nothing, orb, oxygen. Ring. Donut, right? Can we somehow work this into the situation? Maybe the underground needs to go here. Like crude, non-fossil fuel or something. You know, missing any of these things. Gas. Kind of like if we could put natural gas. Could we put natural gas? As in oxygen? Right? Oxygen is a natural gas because it's naturally in the environment. Article probes oxygen, right, for O, emitting non-fossil fuel mobile. Article probing non-fossil fuel mobile, leaving nothing out. So leaving nothing out is get rid of O. Article, which is the probing inside non-fossil fuels, anagram, because of mobile, leaving nothing out. I reckon we've got there now. Article probing non-fossil fuel mobile. Leaving nothing out. So it'd be this, right? I was going to say, I'm not, this anything I'm not sold on, right? Yeah, that's better, right? Now I'm happy the surface reads better. Right? So I think that is now good with hybrid, right? Article, probing, non-fossil fuel, hybrid, leaving nothing out, yeah? So the surface is nice. It's like a newspaper article. And it's investigating, probing into the details of a non-fossil fuel hybrid, right? And it's got nothing out. Like, it's the answer to all the problems. But the wordplay is the inside anagram of this minus O. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Took us a while, but happy with that. That's good. Okay. Now, I think back to this. So I'm liking this situation. This is not bad. So that's what's left. Should we have a look also maybe at this one then? Let's see what the anagram solver. Oh, well, Prince of the West. Hello. That's a straight up anagram. That's pretty good. And we could almost just finish the clue now by putting like a crazy Prince of the West store, you know? Prince of the Wild West doesn't quite work, right? I think this is great. I'm just going to make a decision exactly that we go with this, because this is just a really cool total anagram. And now we just need an anagram indicator. right? And this is totally fair. It's a total anagram, you know, the enum will, you know, thing. Now, that being in the answer, I mean, it's one of those things. We don't have that inside here in plain sight. It's an article, so I think we can afford to put that here in the surface. I think that's fine. That's just a nice straight up anagram. How about we look at a list of anagram indicators? Corrupt, yeah. I was thinking more alliteration as well could be interesting, like practical or something. But yeah, you know, like what are royals, you know, sort of known for potentially, right? I'm gonna see if I can find one with P, right? Just for the alliteration. Yeah, right. None of those are great, really. Yeah, perplexing. Potential. I mean, maybe we're just being too limiting, trying to get one with P. Spoiled. West Byzantine. Oh, that's very good. I love it. I've never been able to use Byzantine in a surface before. That's fantastic. Right? The West Byzantine, like the Empire, kind of that's the sense you get. But Byzantine is an anagram indicator. Perfect. That is chef's kiss. That is great. No def. Well, 2 of 3. I'm just going in no def 1 of 3 in chronological order by across then down. So this will be okay, so no def 3, right? Okay, nice. So this one took ages to get. This one less so. Amazing. All right, let's just have a look and see what anagrams we get for this. Nothing, okay? Partials. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Nearly anagram of Nintendo. That's what's left there. As in ext ton. Oh, yeah. Actually, this does look very charade, doesn't it? Yeah. That's interesting, though, to consider this, but it looks very charade. Yeah, lots of possibilities here, right? In I like. So, ext. Right, like extension, right? Oh. Right, just some ideas that I'm seeing. Exterior. Okay, yep. Right, these are just things that I see, things that, you know, might be nice breaks. Because it's particularly nice when you've got a multi-word like a 2422 that you don't include as a 2422, that you do it as like a 33 something. Like longs hip for long ship, right? You can break it up a bit differently. It's a bit of a misdirect. Yeah, I think the in X is good. I just want to look at very quickly at one look. Oops. I'm just thinking about the other bit, right? To know. So the middle of it, like it's autonomy, right? Because that's also a bit of fun. So something like this could work nicely. I think if we keep going, we're probably not going to get much more interesting stuff. Oops. Monotonously. Came to no harm. Wow. Be up to no good. Ton counter not. Bar in. Okay. We got some choices, I tell you, for this. This is interesting, though. I do like your idea. Oh. Doing something like this probably is on the difficult end for this being a non-clued death. It's fun though, but yeah, okay, so... So in is a bar or a pub, right? I think that's the first place to start with something like this, right? Bar or pub. Exterior. Counter not, right? Because it's the outside counter. And then again, we've got this O, which seems to be the letter of the day. Right, empty is O. Or hollow, right? So not empty or not hollow, potentially, right? So if we think about that, Ignotus is saying something like bar exterior in ext. With titanium for starters. Okay. Oh, in ext T. On counter is reversal of on to be no. Are you missing an O? Bar is in, exterior is EXT. Titanium for starters is T, the second T, right? On counter, but then where's the other O, right? So you're missing this O, I think? Yeah. I mean, the counter not is really good, I think. Right? Because the surface reads really nicely, right? It's the bar or exterior or the pub exterior counter, right? It's the outside counter. But this is cluing 3 letters. This is cluing 3 letters. This is cluing 1/2 of 3 letters. Bar with extra tipping not. Ooh. Oh, tipping not. Okay. Ordinary. Ooh. Do we like bar or pub more? Bar with extra tipping, not getting love. Getting seems more of a container. Bar in with extra EXT. I assume EXT is just extra. Is that just a thing? It might not be here, but I mean, that would make sense to me. I do like this idea more though, right? And probably a bar. Right, because if you go to a pub, you're likely going inside, like a pub meal inside. Bar, you might be going to like to the beer garden, which is like outside potentially, right? So bar probably makes more sense for me. Collins lists EXT as extra. Yeah, I kind of think ext, exterior being ext is better. Remember, this is a non-clued def, right? So we want it to be a bit easier, I think. I'm sold on this idea, definitely. This is really good. So something like this. Exterior or extension? Okay. Okay, bar extension. That's interesting. Is that better? Counter not empty. Not hollow. I mean, not circular, even. Might just be better. Right? And then if we do... one of those. Bar exterior counter not circular. Or bar extension counter not circular. And again, that's just nice, clean charade cluing, piecemeal style. And that's cluing a 2-4-2-2 as a 3-3-3-1, which is amazing. I do love that piecemeal sort of almost misdirect. Like you gotta know the words, and then it's like, oh, in next is in next. Not is to n something, right? That's really cool when that penny drop moment happens for this charade. It's amazing. Bar counter, not circular, having extension. Ah, interesting. So putting the extension inside. Yeah, which totally works as well. And then in that case, extension is better. And I imagine that extension, exterior, external. Yep, that's fine. So in that case... right, I mean, having... is there a better container? Not circular. Not circular. Including extension. As I think having just sounds not quite right. I think we can do better. I still like exterior better for this one. Okay, so now you've gone for Oscar. Accepting. Okay, interesting. Bar, exterior counter, not holding. Holding up Oscar. Oscar native phonetic alphabet, so that checks out. In Ext. Counter not, reversal not. Yeah. So, because Oscar's supporting, right? Yeah. If we can flip that, that might be the best. I don't know if we can make that work, though. Oscar falling under. Okay. Let's see how this is going to look. Falling under. Bar exterior. Counter. And this is the point where sometimes you just got to look at it, right? You just got to stare at the screen for a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, until something just sticks. Because we're really close, right? We've got a perfect, piecemeal charade happening with a reversal and or a container. It's all just there, but not quite. I think it hinges on what we decide for O, right? Circular, Oscar, hollow, donut, empty. I don't really want to do like initial something because we've done that already, right? Actually, no, we just left O out here. Bar extension. With 2 reportedly new. Okay, 2 reportedly. TWO, replace that with TO. The problem with that then is if you put like 2 reportedly new eggs, then you're going to have an extra O, for example, right? 2 reportedly it equals TO plus N for new plus, because then the surface implies you've got 2 of something instead of 1, because we've only got 1 O extra left to clue, not 2. Which is tricky, right? Honestly, I think something like this is probably just easier. I think we're trying to make it too hard. This doesn't feel as smooth for the surface. I think this is better for me personally. Right, less is more. So I think I'm probably just going to go with this. In the interest of time, you know, we do have still a lot of other clues to look at. And I think both are fine, but I just like this a little more. But I think we've looked at the 3 hardest ones. These 3 are definitely the hardest ones. Because it's kind of awkward to not include a definition. Okay. So we've done how many then? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The 3 long ones and then this one, which is nice. Okay. Let's try and push on and get a few more done. We had this as an anagram. Grow, expand, extend. Okay. I don't want to use grow because we've got outgrow as 19 down. So I don't want to use grow. I'm just looking at all these synonyms, right? Supplement, magnify. Multiplies, swells. We've got so many possibilities here. Lengthens, elongates. Right, anything like that. And this was just an anagram that someone spotted, I think, last week. Is Tay still looking at one down? Not center for Tito. Okay. Trying to get the teetotaling aspect to it. So bar exterior counter not center for teetotals. All right. Fun with the center, yeah. I'll put question marks there. I do want to move on and look at other stuff. We can come back and revisit that next week. Not next week, because I'm not streaming next week. In 2 weeks' time, for example. But, yeah. All right. Where was I going? Here. Because again, it's just a straight up anagram, so this could work nicely. Right, now when I see the word general, I think of like a military general. You know, like they could be expanding their territory. You know, or expanding their operations. Again, can we find the right anagram indicator for this? If we're looking at that sort of military general element to it. Okay. Again, by no means is this a complete list of anagram indicators, because there's heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps. But larges, generals, okay. What would the surface read? Calculating generals, no. I think the def has to come first. It's either going to be def and a grind fodder or def fodder and a grind. Expands, yeah. So let's just go to expand. Expands general something. Expands something generals. Stretches. Yeah, there's stretch. Deepen, thicken. Let's go back to the anagram indicators for a sec. Can any of these be part of a good surface? Lawless generals? Okay, you're looking at just general on its own and then the S. General second, general plus S, serving of mushrooms. So general plus S second, serving, anagram indicator, of mushrooms. To mushrooms to enlarge. My God. Is that right? Oh my God.
Mushroom.
Oh, verb. Proliferate. Wow. I'd never heard that as a verb. Okay. Yeah, let's go with it. That's cool. Yeah, it's a tough def, I would say, but the wordplay is fair enough. And again, there are at least 50% check letters. Develop rapidly. Okay. Cool. Nice one. All right. So far we've got 3 charades, 3 anagrams, and 1 container. Now, some clues will have multiples, but yeah. So we want to try and think about, double defs and, deletions, reversals, things like this now, if we can. Can we get a good hidden? This looks interesting for reverse hidden. Eccentric generals mushrooms. That's better, I think. Yeah. Yeah, the surface needs work. Right, in this case, it's that, right? That's how you'd do it, I think. Because it's possessive. It's the generals mushrooms. Which I think is fine, right? Eccentric is a fine anagram there. Right, and it just makes the surface a bit cleaner, I think, right? Yeah, I like that more. Yeah. Okay, so chopped up. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, because that's more appropriate, right, for a food one. Yeah. That anagram fits the surface better. Yeah. Okay. Nice. All right. I'm looking at this now. Let's see. Here's my thought. Right? We could make that reverse hidden. Plenty of words, something, something, DE, to, N, something, something, right? Def equals famous, well-known, prominent. Illustrious. Important. Notorious, if you want to go down the, like, bushranger, criminal sort of thing. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. So this is number 6 that we're looking at. So let's think about DE, all right. Words ending DE. Which is probably not going to be that helpful. All these elements, probably not. Let's go something a little bit less ridiculous. It's a lot of biochemistry, element type stuff going on here. Oh, okay. So I can see noted reversed in there. Augusts. So somewhat hidden. Backtracking reversal. Like, do you mean Augustus or? Oh, wow. Never heard that. Countryside, countrywide. That's interesting, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty tough, I think. Respected, impressive. Yeah, distinguished. But again, the wordplay is fair, right? Which I always go back to, is the wordplay fair, even though the def is tough? 3 cross-checking letters. Right? And the reason I went for reverse hidden is because I can see that, you know, we're going to get interesting. We've got 2, right? 2 is something you could put in a surface. So immediately my mind's drawn to that. Backtracking. Ride to Newcastle. I just want to go having a look at, where is this? Let's go a little bit further down the list. Is there anything else that we like the look of, maybe? Again, some of these are just going to be silly, right? It's just the way the software works. And backtracking Crusade. Or Prelude. Oh, Parade, right? I saw Parade there. I think I did anyway. So Parade is interesting. That could be a candidate. And probably now we're getting not much better. So ride or parade, maybe. Because if you're distinguished and like respected, you might be a noble on a parade to Newcastle, maybe. That's my only suggestion, potentially, from that list. If we wanted to think about that. I'm just going to copy the def straight from Google, which is respected and impressive. Okay, tough def, fair wordplay, so I'm happy with that. I'm just going to put that. Again, we can come back to it. Just another thought I had. We may be able to decide that more easily than this one, for example. But just, you know, it's an easy thing to think about later. But essentially that clue's done, right? So that's nice. All right. I just want to make it. Oh, and 13. All right, so we've done 6. Okay. But as I said earlier, I think the 3 hardest ones are these ones which we've knocked off. So I think it will be easier from here. Let's try and get 4 more done, right? Get to 10. How many clues are there total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 18, 19, 20, 31. Right, so there's 31. So if we can get 10 done, we've made a good start. So 4 more, and then we'll call it there, I think. That'll be pretty decent. So now, can we maybe get a hidden? Like just a straight up hidden. This looks interesting for a hidden, right? Amigo. That has potential. Right? Or, if we want to be really... A MiG is a Chinese fighter plane, right? But that's pretty... Right? Age of Empires 2 knowledge coming in. Soviet and Russian. But the China faction in Command and Conquer Generals. But maybe it's just MI Go is better. And we all know what Amigo is. Let's just remind ourselves, right? Friend. Friend. So basically it's a friend, right? Pretty well we've got to use the word friend, I'd say. Or mate, you know, something like that. Interesting. or, right? Twin engines or something. Right, a twin engine plane, right? You know, I'm sure we could come up with something, you know, for that. Right, let's look at a different one. Wind or twist together. Interlink. Knit, tangle. Weave. Okay. Yeah, wind, right? Wind and then wind in the surface. Wind. Plane something. So this is interesting, but I think we're exploring this angle at the moment. Being something like... stop. So... And having both of these as hiddens, even though they've got a common letter, because one's an across, you know, and if you go just across clues only, you might just keep going like this. If you do down clues only, you might just keep going like this, 19, then this one, then this one next, right? And if you do happen to go this crossing letter, then that's fine. You know, just an easier section of the grid, potentially. Doesn't work, no. I was thinking IG Instagram, but that doesn't work because, yeah, it's a word, not two letters. All right, maybe we need to look at some of these. It's a bit of inspiration. Doesn't work. Oh, you're looking at this one. Oh, wow, okay. I wasn't even looking at this one. Create. Which is bring about. Fragment of. Hit indicator. Garb. Ring a boutique. B ring a boutique. A bout. So B ring a bout. Of garb. Let's just write ourselves of garb, which is like a attire. I was gonna say like a lay, like an accessory. So it's a distinctive stuff, regalia, gear, like accessories, right? Apparel, like extra stuff. Yeah, boutiques is like special sort of niche, clothing stores. Yeah. Yeah, I'm having trouble with this, I think. So I'm now off this train. Because am I... Am I? Right, like it's a kind of a line in a script of like a play or a movie, kind of thing. Again, the punctuation's there to throw you off, but it's kind of for the surface. Again, I'm not happy with this, but like the general idea is, there it is. It's kind of the only way I think we can make this work. This intrigues me more. Piece of garb or fragment of garb? Part of doesn't work as well. And I want to put a semicolon here, right? Not a comma. I just think that's better, weirdly. But I like this hidden a lot. I think for a 10-letter thing to get a hidden is really good, right? Because normally hiddens are much shorter words because it's easier to put them in the middle of stuff. But when you can get it across, a few different words, it's always a lot of fun. Right, that's just impressive, right? I like that. Create. Cool. Like bring about, instigate, right? Start something. So that's nice. Hidden, 14 down. So that's solid. I think fragment works better than piece. Yeah. Because I want it to be part, but fragment's better than part. Yeah. Not liking this, I must say. Maybe end to win. Maybe that's better. Friend of setters 1 going westward. So def is friend, right? To move is go, okay. Going westward is, yeah, reversal. Setters 1. I'm a... Oof. That is rough. To move equals go is great. I love that. Instead of being I'm. I think instead of being I'm, I haven't heard that before. I'm not sure how kosher that is. Like instead of being me or I or mine or me, but I'm not convinced that's like fair or kosher. Don't know. To move being go is fantastic. I do like that. Um, Setter, but setters. Equals I'm. See, I'd be inclined to say setters is equals my, my. Sure. And generally one would be I anyway, right? I have seen one being A before. Like a single thing. And I see why you put one in there for the surface, right? Yeah, I don't like this as much. Friend of one. Yeah. Yeah, that's better, right? I like that a lot more already. Yeah, Master of Arts, right? BA, Bachelor of Arts, yeah. 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 I'm sold on that, definitely. Yeah. Right? Right, it's not ridiculous to, okay, how many degrees are there? Well, BA, oh, MA, there you go, right? There's BA, MA, PhD, right? There's kind of not many that you would use in a crossword sort of thing. Taste looking at entwine. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, I'm sold on this, right? Def, I, MA, reverse, me. And in fact, me, I think is a friend in French, but I mean, we could look at that another time if we'll use this word in the future puzzle. Goes westward, that way. To move, go. Done. So let's pop in. That's a reversal. Right, a charade as well, which is fine. Like, you know, there's going to be a lot of charades. It's just how crosswords work. There's so many things that mean something else. Cool. All right, Tace, hit me up with this. What do you got? For 21, would you buy something like dozen twin engines, wings cut wind? Okay. So yeah, something's on the EN. This is what I was thinking about. What was that word? And again, the hyphen there is really nice. It's cut wind. So there's engines. Oh, interesting. So you're going for this option. Yeah. and def is wind, right? Because the wings are cutting through the wind, right? Like they're gliding through the wind. But it's actually entwined like wind. So that's the nice misdirect of this clue, right? Love it. I think that works, right? The wings are cut. You get rid of the wings, the ends. I like it though, right? And again, 4 out of 7 letters are checked. You know, you've got the word cut, right? Like, the word cut is clearly a direction thing. And, you know, if you get enough of these, I think you'll get there. I mean, I think you can be a bit liberal here, right? Right? Like, this is a fairly easy clue. I think we'd agree, right? That gives you an I. I, for one, is solid, right? That gives you an I, and you're like, okay, hang on a second. I see an I in here, so, you know, when you get this T, oh, hang on, T as something I, there's a word that means that, you know? So, let's think about, to try and... Stop it. Let's think about... Now, this is obviously first, last, you know, it's not kind of all the letters we need. You know, so wingless, right? Now, that's first and last. Yeah, no, that's fine. I think that's okay. You know, because again, if you're going just based on down clues, you're going to get a couple more than this one. And you're not going to read these in succession, most likely, I think. And if yeah, that's fine. I don't mind having 2 in a row. I certainly think we have to be careful, you know, with these other clues. I don't think we can put any hiddens for these ones, right? This one, no. This one, no. This one, no. You know, I don't think we'd look at doing hiddens for these anyway, right? Doesn't feel friendly to me. So I think we're okay. I mean, the other choice is we just actually put a hidden here, right? Well, see, I disagree because they're not all hiddens, right? This is a... where's the other one? This is not a hidden, technically. It's a reverse hidden, which is a difference, right? I make a distinction with those. So that, you know, and it's very far away from these, right? So that is not a hidden. That's a reverse hidden, and it's very far away, right? So I'm happy with that. I'm very comfortable with that. No issues with that at all. I mean, this is interesting, right? I do also see... Yeah, okay. Right, that's a thing. Like a type of breeze. Right, now that could bring the wind back into the surface, the word wind, but it's not a hidden, it's now a container. Potentially, right? That's a possibility too. You know, twin, duplicate, you know, there's nothing for twin. Okay, fine. Matching or corresponding, right? Potentially. Pair, yeah, pair. Pair's good for twin, yeah. Yep. Yeah, see, there you go. Bang, right? Problem solved. Problem solved, right? Right, done. Right? And again, it's the misdirect, the same thing. They're caught in the wind, but entwine is to wind. Love that, right? Brilliant. So that just solves all problems, I think. Because I don't think we were necessarily entirely convinced that the wings being cut. I was trying to work out, like, there were 9 letters removed out of 16. So I was trying to work out, like, 9/16. You know, what's a fraction, right? I've seen... Oh, God, no. Stop that. Right? You know, 56% cut from the, you know, like, you could do something silly like that, but I just think this is a bit cleaner. One down. Another container, which is good too, right? Cool. So that's good. I like that. All right. How are we going? We're going for 2.5 hours or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. That's good. Let's do one more. Or 1 or 2, because we've got 31 clues, right? If we can do 2 more, that'll give us 11, and that gives us 20 clues left. And maybe we can do 2 more streams, or maybe 1 long stream to get 20. So let's get 2 more. And let's try and get a clue type we haven't got yet. So a homophone, or a double def, a cryptic def, an anlit, you know, a deletion. Swapulation, letter bank. There's a lot of P's in this clue. I also see lots of compass points here. SE, SE, N. Sensei, you know, missing a thing. So I see, you know, Or right, like a master. Right? Like master almost is sense. Why is that now gone? That is no good, please. Okay. Oh. Right. That's a tricky thing we could do. Down right is southeast. Down right. East is on the right compass. Down is south. So down right. Twice. Oh, very good. I was thinking, because there's so many P's, right? That is great. Yes. Yeah, this is great. That's fantastic. I like that a lot. Now, it's a tricky def, potentially. Who's hungry for pepper dip? Okay. So this is the angle we're going for, right? Something like that, right? Now, with a letter bank, you need to be very careful with the kind of indicators that you use. Because you need two indicators. You need an anagrind, but you also need a word that gives you an indication of something getting bigger or larger. Interesting. And it's the only 13 in the grid, right? There's no 13 across and 13 down. So 13 can just be a reference for enlarges, right? Enlarges is a word that we could use as a letter bank indicator. Maybe? Repeatedly is also a very excellent indicator. Yeah, repeatedly is an excellent letterbank indicator. That's really good. And if pride is repeatedly hurt, like that's really good for the surface. I'm just looking at the sneaky aspect, right? 13. We could just put 13, like just the number 13. Like just like this, right? Hot sauce 13. It's just called 13. Don't know if it needs to be in talking marks necessarily as like a brand name that we're making up, but if we do number 13, then that makes it a bit clearer that we're maybe cross-referencing recursively this word in larges. So I'm trying to see if either of these options, anagrind fodder or fodder anagrind, works. Yeah, I mean, obviously pepper dip on its own is not going to give us the def, but like it's a sauce, a dressing, a relish. All right, tell you what. This is the first time I've ever done this on stream. Let's ask ChatGPT. Say it like that. Let's see what it tells us. Right, here we go. It's a bit of fun. Any dip or spread whose primary flavour or main ingredient is peppers. Makes sense. The term isn't a single standardized recipe. It can describe a variety of pepper-based dips. Roasted pepper, hot pepper, spicy pepper, Mediterranean style pepper cheese dip. A single concise definition. Okay. Okay. So we could do savory dip or something savory, right? In the word as a thing. Savory. I don't want to use the word dip, right? Savory condiment or dressing or something like that, right? Let's give ourselves some thinking room, as it were. Spread. Okay. Yeah, spread's good. Over and over again being Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've been thinking about this for a few minutes and I just don't see an easy way necessarily. I don't think this would work. I mean, number 13 works for the surface, but if you're substituting number 13 for enlarges, it doesn't work for the surface, right? Hot sauce enlarges hurts pride. That doesn't read well at all. And if we're using number 13A as a recursive reference, we need it to read well for the surface. So I don't think this is going to work, my idea. Spread is excellent as the def. I do love that. Pride is the fodder. About and the grind over and over again. Okay, I just want to... I'm just trying to work out if it's going to give us a few examples of indicators. Ingredients. Components. Okay, here we go. If you say something about having everything you need, components, parts. Dressing. I mean, dressing, right? Like a salad seasoned, you know. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't want to put dip in there, right? Because it's part of the answer. Pride is definitely better. Yeah. So you want to put taste dressing instead of spread? Swapping the order of def and wordplay probably isn't going to be the best. Dressing with a question mark. Do we need a question mark? Or do we need to say something like, for example, dressing, or dressing, say? Here we go. Here are some other examples of letter banks. Every element is needed. Resources. Letters. Provides everything you need. Use and reuse pieces of. Resources, element, everything you need. I'm trying to decide in my head if I like dressing or spread better. And I think I like repeatedly better than over and over again. So I'm on the train of or another letter bank indicator, like one of these ones. I'm on that sort of a train. You're looking at a cryptic def instead. All fired up. About crash in the capsicum market. Okay. Pepper dip. Haha. Interesting. Crash in the capsicum market. Maybe that's just all we need. Right? What about just crash in the capsicum market? Question mark. Oh, all fired up is going to the spice. Interesting. Interesting. Boy, now I don't know what is best here. Oh, that's good. Man. Wow, cryptic def for a letter bank. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think we've got two great ideas here, and I honestly don't know if I want to resolve that right now. I think they're both fantastic, and maybe we need to just sit on this for a couple of weeks and think about it. Because I love the fact that we can get a letter bank in, and it's a nice clean one, right? Pride's a great word here. But I also love a good cryptic def. And a and phrases like pepper dip, you know, like, and you're not going to get like a crossword dictionary or anything like that cluing you in this sense. You know, getting an answer for pepper dip, like wordplay, being a crash in the capsicum market, right? That's just really clever. Hot about crash in the capsicum market. It's interesting. There are so many possibilities, right? How about just this? Right? A market downturn. A capsicum market downturn is a pepper dip. That's it, right? Like, that's the shortest way you can clue a cryptic depth for this, right? Or even shorter still. Or right, like there's lots of ways to clue this cryptically. Right, this one here, of all these ones. Crash in the capsicum market. Or capsicum market downturn. Yeah, I like both ideas. I think this could absolutely be a thing we can make work. And one of these absolutely, or a combination of some of these, absolutely a thing we can make work as well. And I'm inclined to say, let's sit on it for 2 weeks. Let's think about these choices. And we've got a few other things to think about, right? You know, Pradle Ride. You know, this one we went back and forth about it a few times. You know, we haven't even looked at this one that we looked at briefly last week. There's all sorts of ideas there. So I think we've got a few things to think about for next time. And it's one of those things, if people want to spend a minute, an hour, or no time at all on these things, whatever is fine. Like, we're going to come back to them at some point. But I'm pretty happy to stop there, I think, because we've got really good ideas for this one especially. And I think maybe just thinking about it, letting some time just settle between the initial ideas tonight and maybe finalising it next time or the time after that. Because just sitting on it, you know, you might just get an inspiration at 3 a.m. or, you know, later on, you know, in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, like, oh, actually, now this is really good. I've got a great idea here. So I think we'll call it there. I'm happy we've spent about 3 hours and we've got about 10 clues down. And it's taken us a while, but as I said earlier, I think these three being the ones where we haven't got a def took us a while, especially these two, right? This one in particular, I think, to make sure the wordplay works. It's difficult, but I think we spent a fair bit of time on that, and I'm really quite happy with that, actually, with where we're at. And I do think it'll be easier for the next streams because, you know, now we can have a def with every other themed entry. And we got a couple of shorter words too, and a couple of easier words like universal, you know, global and things like this. We could, you know, age is a fairly short word. You know, outgrow is a common word. You know, these are sort of easier words to clue, I think. So I think we'll be okay. We'll probably pick up speed the next stream. So let's leave it there. But yeah, massive thanks to everyone for jumping in and chatting, and thanks also for lurking and all the good fun stuff as usual. Just a reminder, next week I will not be streaming. I've got a work Christmas sort of lunch and dinner thing happening on the 6th December. So back on the 13th of December, 2 weeks time. And I'll look to start around about 8 p.m. on that Saturday. And we'll see how many we get done. I don't think we'll get, what, 20 plus a few extra that these sorts of ones to go back to. So we'll probably try and do, maybe 10 to 15, leaving us with 5 to 10, potentially. Or if I start a bit earlier, maybe we can finish it off, but we'll see how we go. We might just happen to really get in a roll and finish it off next stream. So we'll see how we go then. But yeah, for now, thanks so much, everyone. And yeah, we'll come back in 2 weeks and we'll continue. And we'll see how we go. And hopefully we can finish it then, or maybe the next time. Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. No worries you noticed. Thanks for jumping on board with lots of good clues and suggestions. Thanks as well to Tace especially. And hopefully I can catch up with everyone in a couple of weeks. And we'll finish off then. All right. Thanks, everyone. Check out. Bye for now.